Welcome to Commerce Today. I'm Joshua Warren. I got a really great note about my book, the Ecommerce Growth Playbook. Francois reviewed it, and if you are not following Francois on LinkedIn, I highly recommend that you do. He posts some great stuff about e-commerce. Not just great stuff because he posted about my book, but lots of great analysis every week. So I'll drop a link to his LinkedIn in the show notes. But anyway, he left a great review, said that it's super helpful for mid-market brands, but then he asked, what about the team still fighting to reach the mid-market? What about that first $10 million? And that's a fair point. And I'm actually excited to look to expand the book or maybe start working on a second book for these smaller teams. But I got to say that the levers that will take a $50 million brand to $100 million are the same ones that can take a $1 million brand to $10 million. It looks a little different. Maybe you pull those levers with less force just because you have fewer people, less money, but you're still pulling the same three levers I talk about in the book. And that's customer obsession, a scalable engine, and leadership. So today, this episode is all about that first 10 million. I am talking to you, the founder in the trenches. You're juggling marketing, inventory, returns, ads, customer service, probably even dealing with your vendors on actually ordering, purchasing, constructing the product, and really dozens of other things. And you're tired. That is the biggest thing whenever I talk to a founder that's at this stage. The biggest thing I hear is just the exhaustion and just that desire for some more traction. You don't have time to waste on busy work. You don't have time to waste on things that aren't going to work well. And that's good though, because the path to your first 10 million is not do more. It's do the right things very well on repeat. So let's set up the frame that I use whenever I'm consulting with somebody at this stage, and that is order, disorder, reorder. And not reorder as in reordering a product. But anyway, order is the picture in your head of how everything is supposed to look. It's that wonderful ordered business of you launch, customers show up, you ship fast, reviews roll in, margins hold, everything's just wonderful and feels super clean. Disorder is what you're probably living right now. So ad costs maybe spike, then maybe traffic tanks, then the site is too slow. One app that you install breaks another. A big wholesale inquiry comes in and you don't even have price lists set up yet. Returns start piling up and you just keep adding quick fix onto quick fix. And each one saves you a day now, but costs you a month later. So that's order and disorder. Reorder is the playbook. It's how you get from disorder back to order. You keep the hustle, but you change where you aim it. You pull those three levers in order every week. Customer obsession, scalable engine, leadership. So let's walk through it together. So first lever, customer obsession, and this is for real, not a slogan. This isn't something you put on the wall or put in your company values. It's not a fancy dashboard or a personalization engine. At this stage, it's you, the founder, talking to customers and studying their behavior. It's the fastest way to product market fit and the cheapest way to boost your conversion rates. Your job, Mr. or Miss Founder out there, is to speak with your first 100 customers. And speak with, not a survey link, but real conversations. Spend 10 to 15 minutes on each one, and you can even script the opening of it. I might say, hey, I'm Josh, I'm the founder. Thank you so much for ordering from us. I'm not selling you anything right now. I'm trying to make this product and experience great. Could I ask you just 5 quick questions? And then you ask 5 simple, open-ended questions. Why did you choose us that day that you ordered? What job were you hiring the product to do? What almost made you bail off of our site? What surprised you after the product arrived? And if you were me, what would you fix first? Then just be quiet. Close your mouth. Try not to speak for the rest of the conversation. Let them talk. Take notes. Maybe bring your AI note taker like I like to do. And you're going to hear certain themes on repeat. And those themes will become your roadmap. Run the exact same play on customer support. Every ticket, every review is a clue. Start tagging them. Shipping issues, sizing issues, damaged, unclear fit, confusing checkout, stockouts, I can't find it, the discount code didn't work. Tag and group your reviews and your customer support tickets based on that. And then every week, count the top tags. Find the top one. Whatever was tagged the most, fix that one. And just repeat every single week. And that loop alone will pay for itself in a month. Now, engineer your first 5-star experience. Pick one wow moment you can deliver for the next 100 orders. Keep it small, keep it human. A clean unboxing with a short card that says, "We packed this today at 2:41 p.m. If anything's off, text me and give a help desk text number." Or one thing that I love that I see a lot of brands do is, as the founder, shoot a setup video, shoot a product use video, shoot some sort of video that people will find useful where they can also just get to know you, the founder or the founding team, and set up a video QR code and drop that in the box. Or print a fit guide inside the lid. Don't overthink it. Figure out what works best for your product, pick one, and ship it this week. So, two guardrails though, where I've seen people get off track with this. First of all, don't chase vanity metrics. You don't need at this stage 50,000 followers. You need 100 real fans who reorder and refer. And don't hide behind the analytics only. Believe it or not, or a lot of y'all might believe it, I'm an introvert. So if I can sit behind an analytics dashboard and see the numbers, I will do that and tell myself, okay, I know exactly what's going on with these customers. I've read the numbers, but it's honestly not true. The numbers will tell you what, the conversations will tell you why. You have to get out behind that analytics dashboard and talk to the customers and really understand why they're behaving the way they're behaving. If you're looking for a quick test for product market fit, ask your recent buyers, how disappointed would you be if you could no longer get our product? If 40% say very disappointed, you're close. If not, though, you need to keep learning, keep tightening that product market fit. That single question, when asked to real buyers, can save you months of guesswork. So action here is simple. Work on 5 customer calls per week until you hit 100 total. Do 1 usability test per week. Watch a person on mobile buy from you while you screen record with their permission, of course. Fix the worst friction you saw and repeat. And then get 1 wow moment live in the next 7 days. Now, I do want to say, and again, this comes from my own personal experience, planning is not doing. You need to ship something. It's great to plan, but especially when you're just launching your e-commerce business, you have to get real live things out there. Get the data, talk to the customers, learn from it, and repeat. So that's our first lever. Our second lever is to build a scalable engine, but without overbuilding. And that's the mistake that I see a lot of founders take at this stage. So scalable does not mean complicated. It means that it won't collapse when sales double, but it doesn't mean you need the world's fanciest composable commerce, custom, bespoke, amazing AI agentic e-commerce platform out there. You need to just get something live and get moving and bringing in revenue. However, at this stage, your enemy is silent tech debt. So tech debt is not evil. I talk in the book about how there's intentional tech debt that occurs, and at times that can be okay. Tech debt can definitely be a tool. It's basically just making a decision that right now it's more important to stay within this budget or stay within this time frame to get this item live than to make it perfect. However, at this stage, random quick fixes will compound on you until you're spending Tuesday through Thursday each week cleaning up Monday's messes. So here's the rule. If a temporary fix touches customers, money, or data, put a clear end date on it. Say basically, we are going to replace this with a cleaner fix by this date. If it stays longer than a quarter, it's not a temporary quick fix anymore. It is tech debt that you will earn and pay interest on. Start off with very clean data plumbing. That's something that even at the smallest stages, even the smallest companies, you can get this right. There are so many inexpensive and even free tools now for integrating your systems. So 3 systems must be clean: your products, your orders, and your customers. Now, be careful. I've seen a lot of people build out just this insane level and mess of complex zaps on Zapier or Make or whichever system you're using. And it ends up where you have one spreadsheet that is triggering a zap that goes to another spreadsheet that triggers another zap that goes to another spreadsheet. And pretty soon you can't figure out why your data is what it says it is. So decide upfront on what your source of truth will be for each and every critical field. That's things like product name, SKUs, prices, weights, dimensions. This should be your PIM or catalog system, but honestly, when you're first starting out, this is going to be your e-commerce platform, and that's okay. Inventory quantities. Now, this depends on, are you fulfilling inventory yourself? Or are you using something like Fulfillment by Amazon? You're using a third-party logistics provider, but you need to have a source of truth for inventory. This lots of times also could be your e-commerce platform. It could also be your shipping system if you're using shipping software that can track inventory. Pick one and create some very simple rules around how inventory works. And for the love of everything, please don't change those rules and change anything about your inventory at 4 p.m. on a Friday. I don't think I have time in this episode to get into that story, but that lesson is something that one founder I worked with learned the hard way. And then customer records. Have one place to create and update customer records. You don't want to have, especially at this stage, you don't want to have your customer data in 2 or 3 different places. You want a unified view of the customer. And then choose an e-commerce platform that fits your known needs. So if speed matters more than complex workflows, if you're a simple B2C brand, go with something super simple that you can start selling on now. If you already know you're going to need deep B2B features, tiered pricing, complex catalogs, heavy integrations, you can still start lean, but don't pick a path that's going to require you to rebuild your entire e-commerce platform in the next 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. That's a mistake I see happen so often, and teams lose so much traction and so much money, honestly, by spending 9 months on an e-commerce platform that they never should have been on in the first place to then replatform. The cost of a too early replatforming can absolutely wipe out a quarter's profit or more if you have to do it too often. So either way, do these things on day one. Use a shared help desk, not your personal inbox. I don't care which help desk. A lot of great help desks out there. They all have AI now. The AI overlords are coming for all of the customer service jobs at this point, but pick one. The point is having a queue, being able to have saved replies like templates, SLAs, and visibility. Set up order and issue tagging so that you can tag orders as well as help desk tickets around those items that I mentioned earlier. Also, make sure you've instrumented your site for basic funnel tracking. So that's a fancy way to say use Google Analytics or another analytics system. And make sure you name the steps in your funnel in super plain language. I've seen super complicated things where, it looks like some sort of calculus equation, and really all you need is product view, add to cart, checkout start, and checkout end or payment complete. Put a deployment cadence in place. Even if you're a solo founder that is also managing the website, make sure you ship small changes in small batches on a schedule. Pick a time. Say, hey, Tuesday mornings, I'm shipping a new feature on the website. Consistent and boring beats whenever we remember or whenever there's a fire for adding new things to your site. Document your tech stack. Make it a one-pager of what it does, who owns it, cost, and risks of each piece failing. Make sure also shipping and returns are part of this engine. You don't need to offer free overnight shipping on day one. You do need clarity and you need speed. Give real shipping dates on the product page. This is where Shipper HQ, I've talked about them before. They make it so simple to do that. Also, over-communicate when things slip. Make returns super easy. Tighten the policy later if needed. The fastest way to repeat purchases is they did what they said when they said it, and then also just making returns as super easy as possible. 2 more traps to avoid. We'll automate later traps, or I sometimes, for me, I don't have time to automate this, which is always a sign that it is the right time to stop and automate that. The things that you are doing 10 times a day should be automated now. The thing you do twice a month, that can probably wait. Also, watch out for the Frankenstack trap, as I like to call it. If every time you have a new problem, you add a new app, you are going to be in for a lot of tech debt, a lot of complexity. First stop and say, hey, can we solve this with a process or with a process change before we add another new app? So some quick checks you can do of your e-commerce engine. Check the time to first byte on your homepage. Make sure ideally that is under half a second. Your product page should load fully under 2 seconds when on 4G. Mobile checkout should take no more than 5 steps end to end, hopefully a lot less than that. And it should work with a thumb. You should not have to break out all your fingers on your mobile device to complete checkout. I've seen those checkouts. They are not fun. Test a fake stock out. What happens when a product goes out of stock? Do you hard stop selling? Do you offer a back order? Do you offer a wait list? Decide the rule now and write it down. At this stage, your engine doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be predictable. So finally, the last lever, leadership and org design, basically going from doer to decider. So the hardest shift as you move from 1 million to 10 million in sales in your e-commerce business is the identity shift. You build your e-commerce business by doing, but you scale it by deciding. You need a product owner. I talk a lot in the e-commerce growth playbook about the importance of this product owner role, but you need a product owner. In the beginning, it's going to be you, but wear that hat on purpose. When you shift into the product owner role, really try to take your founder and CEO hat off and think from the product owner perspective. And what's that mean? The product owner really does three things. They hold the vision for your e-commerce experience. What does great look like for your e-commerce channel in the next 90 days? They curate the backlog of what sort of new features or enhancements or fixes you can make to your e-commerce site. What's in, what's out, and in what order are you going to do those? And the product owner says, ship it. There's no committee. They decide and own the call on what changes are going to be shipped to the e-commerce experience. Also, guard your builders from chaos. That could be your developer. That could be your agency. That could be you. I've definitely seen still some technical founders founding e-commerce businesses. Give whoever is building the new features on the site fewer interruptions, fewer changes, and more throughput. You'll be shocked how many urgent ideas you have will fade after 48 hours. So your key first hires, or more likely fractional roles at this stage, are going to be an operations generalist who owns order flow, catalog hygiene, vendor coordination. They're going to make the trains run on time. You need a lifecycle or retention marketer who owns email and text message flows, the post-purchase experience, referrals. These are the people that can turn one order into 2, 3, and 4. And then a fractional finance or controller person who closes the books monthly, gives you a simple dashboard, cash margin, ad spend, payback, and inventory turns. A very common early mishire I have seen, especially on the fractional or consultant side, is a growth hacker that has no operational backbone, or even sometimes the other way around, an operational expert who has never actually done the growth hacking work of taking an e-commerce business from 1 million to 10 million. You need both, and you honestly need to be honest about your bottleneck and where you're deficient here. If orders and the order flow is messy, then focusing on ops first is fine. If traffic is fine, but repeat business is low, then maybe you need to focus on that marketing side first. I recommend setting up a very simple meeting rhythm at this stage. So your team should have a weekly stand-up, review last week's one thing, what this week's one big thing is going to be, and anything that's stuck. No status theater, no grandstanding, and no hiding the issues. Just put them out there. And then a bi-weekly 60-minute demo. Show what has been shipped in the e-commerce experience in the past 2 weeks. Click it, try to break it, celebrate any wins there. And then once a month, have a 90-minute retro. What did we learn from our customers in the past month? What tech debt slowed us down? What do we need to stop doing and start doing? Use really lightweight roles and rules, not a really heavy, fancy org chart at this point. So define who the directly responsible individual DRI is for each metric in each project. You don't need something. I talk in the book about RACI, and you only need that if multiple teams are colliding. At this stage, lots of times you don't need to go to that level. Everything that you do, there should be a definition of done, and ideally it should be one sentence. Definition of done is simply tested on mobile and desktop, live, tracked, and documented. One more quick leadership truth. Decision debt is as dangerous as technical debt. If the same decision is put off or bounced for 2 weeks, you're just going to burn morale. You're going to burn momentum. Make the call with the best facts you have, and you can always course correct in the future. So that is the 3 levers that can help you go from even 0, but especially 1 million to 10 million in your e-commerce business. And I have some templates that I will share on LinkedIn with this episode. Just send me a message if you don't see those, but some customer call email templates for setting up those customer calls for the first 100 customers you're going to talk to. So the path from startup to your first $10 million is not mystical. It's definitely messy. It's definitely challenging, but it's actually really simple. You obsess over real customers, build a small engine that will scale as you speed up, lead by deciding, not just trying to do it all yourself. and just move one lever at a time, 1 week at a time. You want a single sentence wrap up to carry into your day. Fix the experience for your first 10 real customers before you try to acquire 1,000 customers. Once you do that, everything is going to get easier. Your customer acquisition costs will drop, your reviews will go up, your returns will go down, your team will get calmer and happier. So that's it. I am Joshua Warren. This was yet another episode of Commerce Today. And stay tuned. There's some more feedback from the e-commerce growth playbook and some more areas that people pointed out they would like to hear from me on that will power our next few